Alrighty then. Successful Indie Author 5 Minute Focus, episode 829. The secret to success. There's Stanley. He's hanging out back there. All right. It's really cold here. Minus 18 this morning, ambient. A little chilly, so anyway, we're inside. Secret to success. Here is the one secret that you need to know to be successful. You own it. You own your success. Someone else's journey is not yours. Your journey is yours alone. One of the big things you can do to help yourself is manage your expectations. Make sure that you're on the right journey for yourself. Make sure that your goals are achievable. This is one of the hardest things. I want to be a millionaire. Well, okay, that's okay, but that's not a good goal. The goal is these steps that you can achieve that you are in control of, like investing money, dollar cost averaging, like we talked about last week, things you can do to help yourself, like publishing books. Well, I'm going to publish books and make $1 million. Cool. I wrote one book. It's not very good, but I need to make $1 million with it. Guess what? You need to manage those expectations because that's probably not going to happen. What you have to do is all of these steps. And I talk about being a master of the process. If you are a master of the publication process, writing, editing, getting great covers, all of the stuff that goes into making that book resonate with the right readership, masters of that are the ones who then will accelerate forward with sales. You can't compel anyone to buy your book, but what you can do is write a great book that people want to buy. Then you marry the two together. Yes, advertising, marketing, people flip out. Oh, I can't market, I can't sell because I'm not good at that stuff. Write a great book and then talk about that great book and then write the next great book that's even better. And then it becomes easier to market when you have people helping you because they believe in you and they believe in your stories and they know that, hey, when I read this, I am gratified, I am satisfied, I love it, I can't wait for the next one. Competition is something that you need to be aware of. It's not something to be afraid of, and know why it exists. Competition is there because sometimes there can only be one number one. All the time, there can only be one number one. However, that number is subjective. It's also time related. Like you go on Amazon, there's only one person at the very top of number one bookstore. Only one. However, they might be there for a couple hours. They might be there for a day or three. Who cares? It rotates through. But this is just the hierarchy of, hey, they sold more books. They had more borrows. They had more reader interaction. Fine. You have to control the process. You can't control that number one. And this is where people get torn up with competition. I have to be number one. Number one has a lot of subjectivity in it. Number one and better for you, not number one in your own mind. Hey, I'm number one. Yeah, that's not a good look either. But I am doing what I need to do to climb and get those sales. So if you get 5,000 sales in a day, every day for a week, guess what? You're going to have a really good number. You're also keeping a lot of people happy who are reading. That's what you focus on. Those people who are reading and happy. And oh, by the way, oh, look at these numbers. That's great. Let me start working on my next book and make it great too. So steer clear of the competition, accept against yourself, write a better book and keep moving forward. Now, sometimes you have to adjust the goalposts. Hey, I need to sell 1,000 copies of this first book so I can sell 3,000 or 5,000 copies of the next book. So I'm going to make it better. It's going to be longer. If you don't sell 1,000 copies of that first book, and you only sell 500, which is still a great number of sales for your first book, what do you do next? Maybe 750 is a better goal for that second book, and do the things you need to do to get 750 sales. So it's okay to adjust the goalpost, manage your own expectations, because that will help you be successful. Hey, I sold 500 in my first book, but I sold 750 the second. That's a huge win. And that keeps you moving forward. That keeps you in your mind that you're not a failure. Also, there's a read-through issue. So 500 that first book. To sell 750 that second book, you have to sell more of the first book so people are reading that second book. So 500 now will become 1,000, and 750 the second book, still a win. live with that first goal and accept that I did that. And then what's that third book going to look like? And a lot of times I was a professional caddy for a while. And one thing you don't do is say, don't hit it in the sand trap. You have to tell them, aiming for this point of the fairway, your average drive is this. Okay. But here's what I do have to cut. Do not set yourself up to fail. I need to sell 10,000 copies of that first book or I'm going to give up writing. Well, guess what? Why don't you just give up now and save yourself the time? There's no guarantee that you can sell 10,000 copies of that first book. So do not set yourself up to fail. Set a realistic goal of, I don't know how many copies, so I'm going to put the best book out I can, start writing the second book, and then we're going to set put the goalposts in the ground once we know how that first book is doing. Maybe you only sell 100 copies. I sold 53 of my first book, and I think my dad bought 50. However, second book did better. And that's all we can ask of anything. And anything that we do is that we just do better as we're going forward. That's the secret to success is you own it, you control it, you manage it within your mind, and you master the process to improve from one to the next. There you go. Peace, fellow humans.